think this is gonna be my first ever YouTube video. So, welcome to my kitchen. I am gonna chat through about to make a winter bridal bunch for a wedding today. I always think of the 4Fs when I'm making a bunch. Foliage, I'll always have a foliage, which will be the greenery. So today I've got this gorgeous eucalyptus poplar. It's kind of buried, which I think is really nice for this time of year. So that's my foliage. And then my focals. My focals for today are my anemones. So that's them there. You know, I call this their little beards that they usually have on them. So you know they're ready to be picked when their beard grows down. So the space between here and here. So this beard's down. And I always like to take them off because I just think it looks nicer for bunches. So yes, perfect. These ones have kind of like a pink hue on them, which I think is really, really nice. And because it is December, obviously I had to get one of my favorites, these gorgeous burgundy hellebores. So they're another focal. And I also have ugly name, but gorgeous flower, ranunculus, in this really nice burgundy color. Again, just so nice for this time of year. I always think this color with the anemones always looks so nice together. So hopefully we're gonna get a nice bridal bunch. My filler, so my filler for today, it's something like it doesn't have as big as a head as a focal flower, but obviously fits in nicely with the rest of the ingredients in the bunch, but also usually is a little bit smaller than a focal, and easy to work with. So that's my filler. So I've got this really nice Astrantia burgundy again. And then, as I said, finish with the fluffer. So the foliage, the focals, the filler, and the fluffer. So my fluffers today are gonna be, it's a grass, I think it's Sangasorbia. So always something light and dainty to finish, which I add in at the end to add a little bit more texture and movement to the bunch. And then I've got these really nice Skibiosa, which I just picked up in the market. And again, yeah, they're light, they're dainty, they move well. So yeah, that's how I like to remember and organize my bunches, the 4Fs. Right, here we go. So we are gonna start making the bridal bunch for today. So I'll always start with my greenery, my foliage, and use that to kind of base my structure. I'll always start by prepping my pot table because I always forget. So I got that ready. Pop that on the table. Okay, so we're gonna start with these. So I like to go there. And then focal, gorgeous hellebore, filler, our Astrantia, a little bit more filler. So almost using your hand as like a vase. Another focal in there. Anemones. Always looking at it and checking it as I go. Make sure that it's coming together. Kind of going like focal, filler at this point. White limonium as well, which is a really good filler. So just to break it up and to brighten it up a bit, I'm gonna put that in. Anemones. Foliage. I mean, there's no real right or wrong way. I will go in over the top. So I've got 3 here, I think. I'm gonna add some over here. These guys kind of go this way, so I'm gonna let them fall the way they're naturally going. Just add them in on the edge there. Keeping my hand loose so I can kind of maneuver things and change them as I need. So a small one. One more hellebore, so we've got the hellebores in over this side. Now I'm gonna add some of my fluffers just for the extra bounce and movement. I always keep my fluffers like a little bit above the bunch, so then you get that really nice movement. 2 of these together. Often add fluffers in over the top as opposed to the sides so that they can be high up in the middle. Again, you're just keeping it loose, natural. Lots of Skibiosa, so I'm just gonna keep going with those. Another one. So then you've got this really nice movement in the bunch. Another little bit of filler. The grasses. would be nice. So again, leave them a little bit high because they're fluffer. Adds just a different texture. Some nice movement, so don't want it to be too big. Ideally, I always like to try to do a bridal bunch that you could definitely just have in one hand. Almost there. Hot tape at the ready. And. Anything that needs to be moved or adjusted, you can do. I always like to cut them quite short. I always say like a fist, down to the fist, so from the pot tape. Don't want to see any. The less stems, the better. But there you go. That is City Wedding Winter Bunch.